Welcome back, everybody. I'm John. This is my channel, Elite Gamers United. I want to start with a couple shout-outs. I got like 17 new subscribers on my channel, and it didn't even say who yous were. Whoever yous were, thank you so much. The ones I do got: Jungle Draws, George D76, Willow D, and Shamrose, the Lyft driver that gave me a ride to my car the other day. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy my channel. Alright, so we're all familiar with the 1995 Sylvester Stallone movie, Judge Dredd. I want to talk about the game today on Sega Genesis. Now, before we all say, oh, it's Judge Dredd, it has to suck. It may not. I want to say this is not a comparison to the Super Nintendo version. This is just a review of the Sega Genesis version. So I want to start with the story. First off, it actually follows the movie's story pretty closely. It adds in stuff that I can only assume is from the comic books, from the comic series of it. For example, the ghosts of dark judges and some shit that have taken over certain enemies. Okay, I don't remember that in the movie, but whatever. We're not going to go there. So, it follows the movie pretty close. And if you look in the booklet, I wanted to say this. The booklet actually lays out every single level in the game. And then after the end, where you fight Rico, escape from the Judge Hunters, access the lab, invasion by the Gila Munja, RC4. This is stuff that I'm guessing. Final Judgment, discovering the dimensional jump device has been guarding is a clever fake Judge Dredd, and Dark Judges, the Dead World. I'm guessing that's all comic book stuff. So you know what I will say? I give the developer a lot of credit for following the movie and going above and beyond. I'm going to say that's probably going to be the highlight of this video, that the fact that it follows the movie and then gives you stuff totally not from the movie. Probably the comics. Good for you. So let's get started with the visuals. Okay. I'm sure you guys can see in the gameplay. This is nowhere near what the Genesis is capable of. I find the color palette, it's bright in some spots, drab in most. A lot of the background and foreground elements, they seem to blend together, especially in like the first two levels. You can't tell if something's a wall or if something's a foreground or a background element. It's very frustrating. You can't tell what's a platform, what you can and can't grab onto ceiling-wise. Does the rest of the game, later stages, follow with the same issue? Yes. Yes, it does. Visually, the game is no masterpiece. These are by far probably the most average without being terrible graphics on the Sega Genesis. Hang on, let me fix this camera. There we go. It's probably the most average without being garbage. And it's far from being the best. And it's far from showing what the Sega Genesis can do. I gotta hold off on this. Another thing I want to say about the visuals. The Super Nintendo, and again, it's not a comparison video, but the Super Nintendo had some elements that made it look a little better than the Genesis version. Again, I'm not going there. I also wanted to say, the box art, man, the back of the box makes this game look really good. I'm trying to get a good shot there. Except it looks average at best. I'm jumping off the graphics because there's a lot of other stuff I want to talk about regarding this game. The sound. Okay. The guns don't sound that great. The music. The Genesis version's music is actually really good. Great use of FM synth, which is the Genesis's sound system, if you want to call it that. The music has some really pumping bass. It's actually not bad. I would say this game is an above average game, but the music itself is actually probably one of the better highlights of the game. The sound effects, some are a little muffled and muddled, some are just pretty tinny. Not much I can say otherwise, but music is a highlight. I'll say the game has good music. But now the controls and the gameplay. This is where we start to get a little okay. I gotta give this game credit where credit is due. Controls first, I'm sorry. You can't play this game without a 6-button controller. because the game has a score system which has been implemented, you get higher points for disarming and sentencing or judging the perps. No penalty for going around killing everybody, so I don't see what the point is. But if you don't have a 6-button pad, you're not going to have your melee attack, and you're not going to be able to sentence. It just makes it too complicated. You can't really do it with a 3-button. And you also lose a cycle backwards button for your weapon. If you are inclined to try this game, please do so with a 6-button controller. Now, the controls itself, I think he has a very powerful jump, Judge Dredd. Not that he ever jumped too much in the movie. The jumping is probably... You can jump pretty high and far. But the controls in this game are a fucking abomination, and I'll tell you why. If you're watching in my gameplay, now the first half of my recorded gameplay, I used my Retron controller, which that was a mistake. You'll see when I get onto and off of a ladder or a climb down like a rope, I always ended up crouching. I don't know if that's because of the controller's design, but when I switched over to my regular 6-button Genesis controller, the Sega controller, that problem went away. So I'm going to chalk this up to probably the controller I was using, but even back in that, I remember the controls were not great. It's very hard to get onto and off of ropes to position yourself, or any ladders or anything you're going to climb on. You got to pretty much have pixel perfect precision for where you line up. I think the controls could have been a lot better, because truthfully, underneath it, if the controls were more precise without being precise, if that makes any sense, this might have been a really, really good action game. I want to say, though, it all is not without woe. Forget about the scoring system. The controls, they're tolerable. Again, I'm going to recommend you use a regular 6-button controller and not a Retron controller. The controls, yeah, they're one of the hiccups in this game. Pardon me, everybody. That's good. Okay. The controls are a hiccup. I did not like the fact that you can switch your weapons during gameplay, or you could pause it and cycle your weapons. I think they could have made much better use of the Z and C buttons on the 6-button controller. The X button acts as your melee and Y is a sentencing button. Listen, nobody is playing Judge Dredd to sentence the opponents when all it does is just give you a higher score. Alright, everybody is going to do what Judge Dredd likes to do. Kill people. Well, I shouldn't say kill people, but sentence them to death, okay? The gameplay, okay. There is platforming. There's a lot of crap in this game, in the gameplay itself. You can't tell if something is part of the background or the foreground, and if it's going to hurt you or not. There's a lot of stuff that hurts you that doesn't look like it would hurt you. I don't think a little bit of gas coming out of the floor should hurt Judge Dredd. Well, that's just my opinion. The game wants you to go for the highest score. If you want to get your password for a level, you got to find a password chip in the level itself. Why? Why? Just give me the password for the level I'm on. I shouldn't have to find something that enables and entitles me to get a password. I think that's stupid. These ghosts that appear off of some enemies that you can tell when there's a little gray fluttering cloud at their feet, these are the ghosts of Dark Judges. You gotta use, I think, your ricochet shot or your bounce shot to kill them, but it gives you high bonus yield. Stupid. I think the whole having a primary and a secondary objective, that's cool, okay? You do have to at least get the primary objective. The second objective is just for higher point modifier, higher point bonus, whatever you want to call it. In fact, I do want to cover something from the booklet, gameplay related. Hold on, everybody. Okay. Another thing I like, you get a ton of weapons. You have infinite ammo for your basic lawgiver. Nobody should be taking 20 shots from a lawgiver, okay? Your basic enemies in this game, they take a lot of bullets to kill. I don't get it. They are not wearing armor from the looks of it. Hell, some guys are just wearing tank tops, alright? The fact that he can take 10 plus 20 rounds from a lawgiver. I don't know, judges, you may want to upgrade your hardware. But otherwise, I do want to mention, You get armor-piercing rounds, grenade rounds, high-explosive missile, double whammy, that's a cool one. The boing bubble. Okay, yeah, the boing bubble, that's it. That can contain the spirit form of dark judges. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's something from the comics. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. It's something that not necessary, okay? Icons. Extra life. Book of Law. Some levels you got to find the Book of Law to progress through. Like, come on, really? Is that necessary? No. Security cards. Password disc. Pick up the password disc icon to receive a password allowing you to return to the following level. I said it before. I have to earn my password within the stage. Not just making it there. Fighting and dying is enough for me to be able to replay the level. But I gotta find the disc. No. Big no-no. You're gonna use a password system. You get a password at the end of every level. Hell, I thought after the first level, the X's, it was 7 X's. I thought that was my password. I'm like, that's an easy password. No, I just didn't find the disc. Another thing, you can't find all the bonus items and stuff in the stage if you destroy every crate or every C4 box. Some of those you need to use as a ledge. And the game doesn't show you that there's a ledge ahead that you can't climb up onto. And people that are playing this are probably trigger happy and they destroyed the box that you're supposed to use to climb. So, forget getting the extra life, forget about getting password discs in a couple levels. They don't want you to destroy anything. But yet, you're playing as Judge Dredd and half the game, 98% of the game is shooting. So, I don't get it. I think it's very poor design on the developer's part. Whatever. Illegal caffeine bag. Okay, these are the days when you couldn't actually mention drugs in a video game. But let's call the caffeine cocaine, alright? Dealers, in the game you kill certain dealers, they drop caffeine or cocaine. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting irritated just reading this shit. Gameplay-wise, again, there's many better platformers and action running guns on the Sega Genesis. The only way I could recommend Judge Dredd is if just curiosity. And I'll tell you, difficulty-wise, the game is unforgiving. It is not fair. You will get hit off-screen here and there. There's elements that are part of the foreground and background that you can't realize, that you wouldn't realize are things that can hurt you. These dark judges, ghosts. Although I'll give the game its credit, it is a long game. There is a lot of stages, and the difficulty, it's artificial. This game is just cheap for cheap's sake in terms of the difficulty. Again, it's a curiosity game. Would I recommend it? No, I really can't. The only reason I owned this game when I was a kid, I was 10 years old, alright, so we can forgive me. I thought the movie was fun. It was a decent movie for a 10-year-old. The game, I was dying to play the game because I'm like, okay, Judge Dredd seems cool. I remember I called 3 Toys R Us's when I was a kid. Back when Toys R Us's were a big place to get games. And the one in Levittown was the one that had it. I'm like, could you put a copy aside? They're like, yeah. I went down with my mom. She drove me. She bought me the game. I was happy that day. Unfortunately, the game, well, it was a letdown for me. Anyway, I just want to say, Judge Dredd, the game tries a lot of things. 9 out of 10 of them don't work. As a basic break it down, as a basic run and gun, yes, there's a lot of enemies to kill. As a side-scrolling action game, platformer trying to make the gameplay a little artificially deeper. No. Accessing the computer terminals. No. All that shit I could have just... You're telling me Judge Dredd has to access a random computer terminal to get into the Hall of Justice's files or, all the judges' files? No. He probably has something with him that he can look at. All that could have been done on the pause screen, but they didn't. Anyway, yeah, curiosity piece. I'm John, this is my channel, Elite Gamers United. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm thinking about going a little more modern, something more current for the next game I'm going to review. Anybody has any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. And you all have a wonderful day.